Hey, are we ready?
Yeah, let's just do this thing.
What's up? How you guys doing?
Good.
Excellent. Anyone have any little blue pills for the mics?
We went tech recently. That kind of.
There you go. I'm moving.
There we go. Well, why don't we do this? I am Tom Hodges.
I'm Brianna Garcia.
We are Dan and Leland.
I'll take it.
This is what we're doing. Look what we've become. So, how many? Has anybody here not heard of Mind of Mirrors and is not familiar?
Everyone sit here and I'll stand.
That's way more professional. So Mind of Mirrors is our is Leland and my brainchild. It's been 6 years.
6 years.
6 years in the making, and we are a rock band. The two of us are a duo, and for our fourth album, we just started writing songs and realizing that we were writing a bigger story, and decided to expand that into a graphic novel. And so the album sort of serves as the soundtrack to the graphic novel, where every track on the album sort of tells the same story as a chapter in the book in a different way. Would you say that's true?
Yes, I would say that's true.
Yes, I would say that's true.
Oh my goodness.
And so, yeah, just the brief history behind that. We wrote the script, which is 179 pages, and we were looking around for ages trying to find someone to draw the thing. And I also play guitar with this guy at a major theme park in Anaheim, California.
We're all friends here. We know what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, no, he doesn't. That's why I'm telling the story. He's unfamiliar.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so Tom was a fan of said band, and so was Brianna. But that's another story. She's crazy. That Tom found me on Facebook, and we were friends, and I started noticing all these drawings that Tom did.
I'm Tom.
He's Tom. And he was doing drawings of the characters in said show that I played at a major theme park in Anaheim, California. And I thought the art was fantastic, and I talked to him about creating the book. And then we put together a Kickstarter and raised $32,000 freaking dollars. I don't even know how we did that, or how you guys did that. I think you did something. A little bit. Anyhow, and then to color the thing, we were going to work with another colorist, and that didn't end up working out. Styles are different, and then I thought about her. Because she's tight with colors, Brianna. Yeah, I'm talking to this.
No.
So that's sort of a brief history of what we've done.
Well, and then we were going to get a letter, but Dan ended up deciding that he wanted to give it a shot.
Talking to this.
And he did a great job. And so he's
Wait, no, you have to
going
start over. Yeah, nobody heard that.
I'm also just when someone raises their hand to the question, I'm gonna go.
Moderate.
I'm playing moderator.
So I was just saying that we were going to go with another letterist, and then Dan decided to try his hand at it, and he's been fantastic. So Dan is officially doing the letters.
He's doing a darn fine job.
Thanks.
From my end, I've been working on the book since late spring, and it's been a lot of fun working on with these guys. I really like these guys. But anyway, here's the thing: I did a book last year for the band Rush, and I'm a huge Rush fan, and they're nice guys. But I can't listen to 2112 anyway, because there's a book for 2112. So I can't even put it on. Their album, on the other hand, I actually can still listen to. So that's a good thing. But okay, does anybody have any questions? Oh.
I mean, you guys said that you guys were on Kickstarter, and I'm always on Kickstarter. So where were you guys at? In the music, in the graphic?
We put it on comics.
So was it? Okay.
Yeah, and we did that in April. And have you done Like Kickstarter yourself?
No, I'm
You're a supporter.
a supporter, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we put it under comics. It was sort of a toss-up, but ultimately it was to create that rather than create the music. Because the music we already
The
had.
album was already done and recorded and everything, so they weren't raising money to record the album and print it and press it, but they were recording, what we were raising money for was the graphic novel. Next. You know what, I'll tell you what we can do. Why don't you guys play something? That's okay.
All right. You talk over.
While
Yeah.
you're playing, okay, does anyone have any questions about the art, about the process, about me in general, about what I'm wearing tonight? You're what I'm wearing?
How many pages?
Excellent
This is a
question.
great
Take it, Tom.
Okay. Initially, it was. Initially, I guesstimated it was going to be about 100 pages. Right now, I'm hoping I don't go over 150. It's a big book. It's an extensive story. It's an extensive story. So, and when reading it, you can tell it's a very personal story. These guys really put their heart and soul into it. So that is also one of the main reasons why I'm so into making sure it gets done right for them. That's the other thing that I'm going to address right now. I'm kind of taking my time with it. I've always been known to be fast with things. The Rush book, and this was their fault. And not even the band Rush's fault. The company, Universal Music Group. They started talking to me in June of last year about the project. And I did some sample pages for it so the band could approve it. And I didn't hear from them for 2 months. And I can tell you exactly when I got the call. It was on my way home from Orlando for I'm mostly known as being a Star Wars artist. And I was on my way home from Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. And I got the call about 20 minutes before I was getting on a plane. And it was, oh, and by the way, it needs to be done in 30 days. Now, let me explain what needs to be done in 30 days. 40-page graphic novel. Layouts, pencils, inks, colors, lettering. I did it all in 4 weeks.
Nothing's bragging.
I'm not, and trust me, I'm not bragging, because here's the thing, as awesome as it was to do, as awesome to be a part of it, and I got to meet the band, and got to go see them for free, all that stuff. Not that I hadn't seen them, 10 times over, going to see them just as a fan. But it was, the last day I worked on that book was 36 hours straight. Non-stop. My wife called out sick for a week so she could do my color flats, which is essentially just the flat colors on the pages. And she didn't even do all of them. She did what she could. And she could call out for 4 days. And she had 3 days off. So she called out the maximum 4 days she could call out without needing a doctor's note. So, and that's what she did for me to get that done.
Were you satisfied with the final product?
The Rush book?
Yeah.
Yes and no.
It's great.
I am, and I'm one of those artists who I will preface this. I am one of those artists that 2 weeks after I do something, I hate it. However, we are our own worst critics. However, I will be honest and say this book right here that I'm working, the Mind and Mirrors book, I still love every page I've done so far.
Did you happen to bring the portfolio?
And not up here, the artwork's down on my table. And actually, if you come down to Artist Alley, I'm at Artist Alley.
You're right under the Artist Alley sign.
I'm right under the Artist Alley sign, 1700 and 1701. I have a lot of the original pages there for people to look at. So.
Yeah, and we've also got, how many, like 11 pages there that are lettered? But Amy's bogarting them, so whenever she's done,
What happened?
nothing, just go.
Enjoy.
But we're passing around the iPad because it's projectors in the theater. But we should talk a little bit about the story.
One second, guys, one more question.
When is it going to be available to other people other than Kickstarter?
Oh yeah, no, yes, absolutely. In fact, it's going to be published through Dreams and Visions Press. They do a lot of art books. They did the art of Ralph McQuarrie. They're working on a bunch of books for mostly a lot of conceptual art guys, but they're also doing. They're going to publish this one. They co-published a Clone Wars graphic novel I did with Dark Horse a couple years ago. So it will be published, and it will be through Diamond. It should be at the very least through Diamond. So you should be able to get it through your shop when it's ready to come out.
Okay. All right. So before we play, you guys probably don't know a whole lot about the story, so we should tell you a little bit about what's going on in the graphic novel. Get them, Leland.
Okay. So the graphic novel, it's a very personal story for both me and Dan. It's essentially the story of Jack, who grew up in the Midwest, didn't have a whole lot going for him, or I guess the North Midwest?
Devil's Lake.
Devil's Lake, North Dakota. Kind of a bit of a rebel, a bit of a partier, no real direction in his life, and kind of running off the tracks. And then he ends up realizing that his childhood friend is that they're in love, and so all of a sudden it's a question of if he can sort of make a life of domesticity work for him or not.
You take the next one.
Okay. So basically, this is where we meet this character, Mr. Green, who sort of is the representation of every culture's trickster god. Call him what you will, but he seduces Jack away from this life and from everything he's got going on, and making him think that there's more out there, and that he hasn't made anything of himself, and that he needs to go out and do that. So throughout the course of the next really 5 or 6 chapters, he's going out in the world and epically failing at absolutely everything he tries. He tries going to LA and being a rock star. It doesn't work out. And there's a lot of fun little Easter eggs in the book for us, because we met some interesting characters throughout our musical career. And we kind of get a chance to
Throw them all under the bus.
throw them all under the bus, so to speak. So there's a lot of people that have burned us and done us wrong, and we get to depict them in the book in a not so positive light.
Do you have a slow guy who draws really slow? Are you going to add him in any special edition?
Yeah, it'll be another. No. So anyhow, and then he goes through all these other things, and when Mr. Green sort of seduces him away, he also gives him this drink from a golden flask, which is sort of representative of the golden apple, or whatever myth you want to draw from. But what happens is half of his mind is trapped, his consciousness is trapped in a mirror behind the bar. And slowly throughout the book, that mirror world is taking over his existence. He's getting sucked more and more into this sort of prison that Mr. Green has created. And so the book keeps getting more and more psychedelic. And eventually he starts to realize that he's able to control these hallucinations. And so there is sort of a quasi-superhero element to the book as well, but really the book is more of a what would you call it?
The way I would describe it is almost semi-Strangers in Paradise with a Vertigo twist. I would go that route. If you want to describe it in some way, I would go like that. Yeah.
So right now, where Tom is currently drawing, he's playing with the rock band in LA in the 80s, and Tom is killing this art. It's so fun. It's one of the eras that I wish I could have lived in for 15 minutes. But, Sunset Strip in the 80s.
Yeah.
Were you there?
No.
Yeah.
I was East Coast for all that, but wanted to be here. Wanted to be West Coast for it. I was East Coast. But we had our own, because for those of you who don't know me very well, and that's everyone in this room, I was 100 pounds, about 20, 25 years ago, I was 100 pounds lighter and had hair down to my hands. And what's funny is that at Kamikaze, I saw Sebastian Bach walking through Artist Alley with his wife, and I didn't say anything to him because the last time I saw him, he tackled me at a Kiss concert. friendly tap, but I just didn't want to deal with it at a Comic-Con, so.
That's kind of awesome.
The band I used to work with used to open up for them in like Studio One and all the like the bigger clubs out back there. So we used to everybody used to hang out. Everybody used to.
So I think that Leland and I are going to play a tune now. We're going to play a song called "Slow Road to Nowhere," and this is when they're in the bar, and it's sort of the musical depiction of what's happening in the comic. A lot of people ask the question, am I supposed to like read the comic and listen to the music at the same time? And no, it's not that. I had those books when I was a kid, and they were fun. But, you know, press play. You read the book, but it's not that, not at all. It's just the same story to be enjoyed in two different ways. And then there'll be a film later, and Jack will be played by Nick Churchill. All right, so we should go like more central because they can't hear us. Sure.
I'll move this card out of the way.
Let's start with me.
Oh, it's already started.
No, bring it.
Just pull that chair out and sit in that chair now.
We need a lot of
to like
This, here, you sit
Oh,
there.
you're right.
You sit there.
Perfect.
You wait till he sits down, then you put the leg up.
Now they have the best view.
Check out that green suit with midnight eyes, pointy yellow boots and a bolo tie. Pulls a gold flask out from his vest and says, "Put down your glass, son. Take a taste of the good life. Tell me, are you satisfied? Wanna sit by a stool every Friday night? You wanna wake up one morning at the end of your life? Make up your mind, son. You've been walking slow, nowhere. You should be in the driver's seat. There's a great big world at your fingertips. Let it spin while you're standing still on the slow road to nowhere fast. I guess sip some more. There's a dusty mirror behind the bar. Staring at myself and all I see is gone. And the room looks different. Electricity from floor to the rafters. Open as it shimmers and coyote laughter. As I swagger through the house through the street after my mind's made up. Oh, I've been walking the slow road to nowhere. I should be in the driver's seat. There's a great big world at my fingertips. Let it spin while I'm standing still on the slow road to nowhere fast. I've been walking the slow road to nowhere. I should be in the driver's seat. There's a great big world at my fingertips. Let it spin while I'm standing still on the slow road to nowhere fast. On the slow road to nowhere fast. On the slow road to nowhere fast.
The music is sort of eclectic redneck pop rock. You know, sort of outlaw, kind of, what would you call it?
That's a pretty good description. And
Yeah.
it is a full band
Yeah.
on the record. We played everything except for drums, which was done by Nate Morton, who is fantastic, who right now is on The Voice, is that right?
Yeah, he's the drummer of The Voice. And then we also had Matt Steele play percussion.
Oh, true.
But apart from that, it's us.
Including breaking glass and
Oh, there's
sorts
all kinds of
found
very
sounds.
fun things. Yeah.
Dan had a brilliant idea for a song called Puzzles, where all the percussion is like games, like shuffling cards, poker chips, rolling dice, stuff like that. So he's a creative one, that Dan.
So we should play something else.
All right.
So this song is called The Ride. Later in the book, there's a pretty epic battle which takes place partially in the mirror world and partially in the real world between Jack and Mr. Green. It's sort of the big showdown after Jack sort of frees himself from that mirror world and realizes that he can jump between the two. Yeah, it's weird. So, yeah, this is about that kind of conflict.
Black crow cut up to the cutest sky. Thumb in my pocket will be itching to ride. If there was a soul around, it stopped spinning and the wind stood still as a chartreuse smirk shot up over the hill. Hey son, where you headed now? Thanks for the ride. Our fake white sparkling as the words slither out. Don't understand what you're talking about. I'm just trying to lend a hand. Standing on the edge, you just need a little shove. I might help you get where you're going if you won't even budge. Let go. Why don't you try again? Fingers got iron.